Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Talkin Kop for this Thursday night. I'm Gav, Keith, Shawnee, and Dunner are with me tonight. Now, do not adjust your screens. I have a moustache. Shawnee has a moustache. It's for Movember. We'll get into it in a minute. Keith's head is completely and utterly fucking gone. Dunner doesn't know what the fuck's going on, but we will explain all as we move on. Shawnee's looks better than mine, but look, we've a long way to go. Loads and loads to get through in this show, but I want to start off with the charity stuff. There's a few bits to update you on and what we're doing and stuff like that. So, first things first, as everyone knows, in January we joined up with what was meant to be 11, but ended up being 13 women from Ashbourne, Donaghmore. Gas for Maz, they called it, what it's called. So it's Gaelic for mothers. They go on the lash basically and play a bit of ga. But 13 of them in January decided to take up the challenge of doing the Dublin Marathon, 26.2 miles. It was on last Sunday. It started with 13, it finished with 13, and it finished with 13 women finishing the Dublin Marathon last Sunday, which was an amazing achievement. We joined up with them to try raise €20,000 for breast cancer research. It's gone beyond that, which is amazing to say. It currently sits around €26,500, which they're absolutely blown away by. And I have been told by all of them to thank everyone on screen, all the contributors, and every single person that's watched this show or contributed in any way to helping them get to that target. It's an amazing target. The GoFundMe will close at the end of the month. It will close at the end of the month, but they've gone beyond that target. If you want to help them on a little bit more, absolutely do so. On to Movember, because Shawnee's having a breakdown, right? Antio says, hold on, Gav has a moustache as well. It's going to be great. What is happening? Ryan Lee says, fucking hell, Gav, just one more cornetto, right? I'm going to tell you now what's going on, and then I'll tell you what the story is, right? So, Movember, okay? This is Shawnee's idea. He brought it to me and he said, look, I'm doing this. He said, do you want to do it with me? I said, yeah. I said, I'll do it with you, or we'll do it as a team. He goes, look, put a Talkin Kop one out there. He said, let's get people to donate. If they want to join in and do it themselves and send us updates, become part of the team, they can do that as well. If you need any info, get on to us and we'll sort you out with it. And we're trying to raise €1,000, Shawnee, with the Talkin Kop for this month.
Yeah. To be honest with you, Gav, we've done stuff in the past in terms of fundraising, but this one personally is more about awareness, because I think it's aimed at two charities. The first one is prostate cancer, and then the other one is Men's Mental Health Ireland, which I think is a sore subject for a lot of people. But the problem is they don't talk about it. So I had a Zoom call with the fella who asked me to do this when he was setting it up, and it was really eye-opening to me in terms of, I told him about the platform that we use and stuff like that, and I told him about the average amount of listeners we had, and he broke down how many people in the chat, how many people that you might have contributing in the show probably suffer in silence. And funny enough, I've actually had people, I won't name names for reasons, I've had people who listen to the show reach out and tell me that the Fatback 4 is a tonic for them, and I helped them through tough times and stuff like that. And even during the lockdown, people reached out and told us how the positive effect we had on their mental health. So, like, the target here is not something that's a hard line. It's just more of a goal. I mean, we'll have a bit of crack and we'll do things. Look, the chat is flying already. The crack,
it's all over.
Outrageous. I'm trying to keep a straight face while you're talking about serious stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. But like, it's just the link is there. Wherever you have tens and fives, if it's €2, throw it in. Wherever you have, it doesn't matter how much we raise. It's all going to this one cause. And again, if you are someone in the chat who feels like they've nobody to talk to and nobody to turn to, find somebody, talk to anybody. I'm trying to be serious here, and I'm looking at the chat, and it's off the fucking wall.
Yeah, but we're willing to take this for a month, aren't we? We're willing to take, like, because this, like, we literally shaved.
It's you know, it's starting to grow on me now, figuratively and literally. It's starting to grow on me. catching myself, I was walking down the Duns earlier, and I was like, that's actually not half bad. But then you get a few funny looks.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, the links in the description. Whatever you have is greatly appreciated. Just know why we're doing it,
Yeah.
and who we're doing it for.
Yeah, 100%.
That's the main thing.
It,
If you want to get involved in shows, your snack catchers, your flavour savers,
yeah.
we're more than welcome here. But yeah, we'll get on with it. It's only a month.
Yeah,
in the grand scheme, it's only a month.
It's only a month, and look, we're gonna have some fun with it. Like we've literally started with just mustaches, and this can go anywhere. Like, do you know what I mean? Any suggestions are absolutely welcome. I've got some reactions as well. I came into the sitting room earlier after shaving, and my wife says, you know, Matthew Perry obviously died this week from Friends, right? And it's probably not the right way to talk about it, but she said, "Yeah, actually remind me of the time in Friends where he walked into a room with a moustache because he was trying to look like Tom Selleck." And I was in bits laughing at that. I was outside having a smoke earlier. My daughter came back from wherever she was, and she literally stopped about 15 yards from me and went, "What's going on?" And I was like, "Oh, it's only for charity." And she's like, "Can we not just give them some money so you don't have to do this?" And I was like, "No, like you have to do it." Like, you know, I feel like I'm something from Boardwalk Empire. That's what I feel like, right? But I don't care. It's 30 days. We're the second day into it. It's 30 days. They're gonna grow. If like any suggestions what way you want us to grow, I'll do it. I don't care. Do you know what I mean?
To be honest with you, like, we need to do top 10 countdowns again, because seriously, in my estimate, Graham Souness is the greatest player to ever play for Liverpool of all time, because he managed to be so good with one of these. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
How we managed.
Yeah.
What we doing? The top 10
I'm surprised
players.
I'm surprised nobody has compared us, you know, those boys to me, to you. What were they called? The Chuckle Brothers, yeah. I'm surprised that hasn't come up in the chat, because loads has come up. But that is the story with the charities. Well done to the ladies running the Dublin Marathon. It was an unbelievable achievement. And we're going to do this Movember. We're trying to get Keith on board, to be honest with you. But we're going to...
But you know what? I've come on here, right, with a beard, and Dunner probably feels the same, but I don't want to put words in his mouth. But I feel like a fella who was walked into an orgy and still had me jocks on, and I just don't know. I don't know what my next move is here. I don't know whether I go off now and have a shave or what.
No,
I
stay
do.
here. Stay here. We'll discuss it afterwards.
You might dissipate on it anyway. You wouldn't notice it.
Yeah, we'll discuss it. We'll discuss
You
it
get
anyway.
a dye job, Sean. You get a dye job on it.
Well, look, I'm going to have to get a picture of a smoke hanging out of my mouth, because the famous picture of me is with a smoke out of my mouth, but with a moustache, I think it would look absolutely sensational. So we might go on there. But look, that's the charity stuff. Like I said, the link is in the description. We're going to remind you on every show this month and across our social media, whether that's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever it might be. We're going to remind you constantly across the month of November. As I always say, we make no apologies for that. It's two amazing causes we're doing it for, and if you can help out, whether that's 1, 2, 5, 10 euros, whatever you can afford, throw it to us. The price of a pint, the price of a coffee, you don't realise how far this goes with regards to men's health and our...
Just share, and if that's like the main thing, it's awareness for me more than anything else, because it's not like, look, I'm not gonna lie to you and pretend it's like charities that we've done in the past where there's been a personal connection, like Sienna, and then the girls who ran the marathon. Like, you might never meet these people that this positively impacts, but that's the whole point, is that you're helping people who need help. So we're just, look, the spit is flying in the chat already. It's a great bit of crack as it is. It's only a bit of facial hair. Now, that was my first clean shave in 6 years yesterday, and I won't lie to you, when I was in the barbers, I tried a few different looks. The goatee was there, the handlebars were there, but I settled on the Selleck. Now, it's more Georgie Borges than Tom Selleck.
I don't know. I think you're underselling yourself there, Shawnee. I like the comment in the chat there by Mike McCardle. I just tuned in. I'm looking at Oliver Hardy and Clark Gable. That's a slogan to go for you, Gav.
Yeah, listen, I'm used to it. I'm not going to try to go up against. I'm not going up against Shawnee in this right for a month. I'm happy to sit over here like the fucking EJ. I've no problem with that, right? But look, that's the stuff with regards to the charity. Lots of people have been asking us about what's going on with Twitch and what's going on with memberships and stuff like that. I'll explain everything towards the end as to what way we're looking at that, okay? And we'll leave it towards the end of the show. But let's get into the football. Liverpool won at Bournemouth 2-1 last night. We're going to go on to the quarter-final draw in a minute. I'm not going to go through the game. The lads went through the game last night, which is absolutely fine. But I just want to talk about Quansah. Because I thought in a game where the conditions were horrendous, a couple of players around him at times didn't do him any favours. And there was lots of really, really good footballers on that pitch last night from both sides. I thought he stood out an absolute mile. In a game, you have to remember, where he starts away from home. And it's probably his first start away from home, if I remember right. Maybe Wolves away, maybe he did. But it was a really tough conditions last night, especially second half. And I just thought he was flawless. Absolutely flawless. And as a player who was described by somebody before as, a shot at FSG by bringing him on away at Newcastle, I just think he's proven everybody that these players can come true, and I just hope he keeps going and going and going, because he looks an absolute player. Keith, we bang on about the centre half stuff all the time, and maybe we still need another one. You don't know. Maybe you need a left-sided one. You don't know. But Quansah to me just looks like the absolute real deal, and I'm happy to say that at 18 or 19 years of age, wherever he is.
Yeah, look, there was a lot of skepticism around Quansah when he broke in, and you're right, like the talk that it was a political move to put pressure on the owners. I can understand why people were saying that in some way, because it was like, you don't tend to trust 19, or how old is he, 20, 19?
I think he's 19 years of age.
You don't tend to trust lads like that in a team like Liverpool. Now I know there's exceptions, and we were chasing Levi Colwill, but look, I'm not trying to push Quansah up the highest echelon, but if you look at the numbers that were being thrown out for Levi Colwill, and if you look at what we're getting out of Quansah, there's a possibility that we could save ourselves an absolute fortune. Now I do think we need another centre back, but not at the expense of this lad, because every time he's gone in, he's looked, improve. Last night I thought he was excellent. In them conditions, it was really, really tough, and I thought he was the one who really stood up. His header, what was he done? He done a good header over the bar under pressure with that wind. I just thought he was great. I think he's good on the ball. I think he's fast. I think he can tackle. He can do it all. And for a kid that young, we remember, like, Bobby Commetio comes in and you're like, 6'5", big lad, yeah, lovely. No, it hasn't happened for him. Reece Williams, 6'5", didn't have the other qualities needed. Nat Phillips had some qualities, but not Liverpool qualities. But this kid looks like he has Liverpool qualities. He looks like he has Klopp qualities. And I think, well, I'm not saying keep him in the team, first 11 for now. He's certainly one you can look at, drip feeding into games here and there, and looking for the future.
It's like someone put Reece Williams in the oven and said he's not done yet. Put him in the oven for a little bit longer, and then he came out, and then he has, because Reece Williams can play ball.
Yeah, but he hasn't got the physicality that's going to pace this fella has.
He hadn't got the physical attributes that Quansah has, the pace and that sort of Goliath strength where he looks like a man playing against men. He's fucking unreal. We spoke about it before the ball was kicked in the season, boys, and I said, just give him a go, because it's sink or swim. And something stuck out to me last year. I remember, I think he goes and plays there's a 19th tournament last year for England. I think they actually go and win it, if I'm correct. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think they do. They've won a few, haven't they?
What stuck out to me was that Joey Barton, now, whatever way you feel about Joey Barton, he was managing Bristol Rovers at the time, and he says, there's no way that this kid doesn't make it to the top level. He has absolutely everything. And we've seen him kind of getting drip fed in pre-season, and he's looking good in pre-season. And then you see him playing League Cup games. You see him, and he starts away at Wolves. I think he's brilliant. I think people were dying to hang him. And then you see him last night, an away performance in the Carabao Cup with absolutely terrible conditions. And he's man of the match and a standout performer. And he hasn't even played in anything that would resemble our strongest back four yet. It's always seems to be a patchwork job. So it's not a case of this kid will potentially save us millions. he has saved us millions because he looks every bit of a Liverpool footballer. We will need to replace either one of Gomez or Matip in the summer, but this has gone a long way now to plug in the gap, in my opinion. I don't even think by jumping the gun on this, he's doing it every time he plays. I don't know whether someone who's watched more of him at England level or at Bristol Rovers or even at level, I don't really see any holes in his game either.
Yeah.
Not for a 20-year-old. Now, you look at Caldwell there at Chelsea, there's not much of a difference. We probably would have played, if we had paid 70 million for Caldwell and he performed the way Quansah has in his games, we'd be all calling for him to be in the first 11. That's 100%. The way I look at it. So, a fucking an animal, for want of a better word.
His intelligence is something that's really standing out for me. And it's clear as day that he's studying Van Dijk and Matip. You can even tell in some of the attributes he's bringing into his own game that it's replica of what Virgil's doing on the pitch. Even his strides forward are like what Matip breaks out from the back. Now, granted, I think he makes a great run out at one point last night. He loses the ball, but you know what I mean? He keeps his head up all the time and mistakes don't faze him. I think that's one of the best attributes you can look for in a centre-half, no more than in a striker with Nunes. If mistakes aren't phasing him, he's willing to just get back on and keep doing what he's meant to be doing. Like even that little, is it the Christ turn down in the corner when the ball is coming out?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Like it's sensational. And then he comes out, passes the ball away, and he's back into position. Cool as you like. Yeah. Everything about him screams a world-class pedigree of a centre-half in the making.
Dunner, I'll stay with you because Tom Boland says, and this is probably the main thing on it, for me anyway, he says Quansah's an immense talent, but his career hinders in how we use him. And I was talking a couple of weeks ago about how brilliant he was in certain games, but I was like, we mightn't see him for 6 weeks. And that's no harm. You know, you don't want to see him. We don't want to have to play Quansah every week. He's just not at that stage, all right? But how we're using him is really clever, isn't it? Europa League games, throw him into a League Cup game, you might get 15 minutes in the odd league game. And that allows him to, in certain situations, try what he's learned when he sees Van Dijk or he sees Matip or indeed he sees Konate, because I think that kind of pushing out with the ball is a Konate kind of thing as well.
Yeah.
It's huge, isn't it, Donald? Because you don't want to get to a fella where he's 21, you're going, this fella's played 80 games at centre-half for Liverpool, and the reason he's played is because, you know, 2 of them are injured and he's just had a fucking horrible 18 months. You know what I mean? Like the way we use him is important.
No, you're bang on, Gav. And I think also the fact that the games we're going to be using him in are games we're expected to win. And games where more often than not we will win. And I think that's even big for his own confidence going forward and everything else. It's not games where he's been thrown in at the deep end, been hung out to dry, going out in a team full of youth players. He's still got out in very strong sides because, you know, Klopp has played in both Europa and the League Cup now. We've seen really strong 11s going out. So he's becoming very familiar with the first team in total. Like, there's nothing really new to him in terms of people playing around him. Like Seany says there, he hasn't played in the full back 5 yet. And it'll be interesting to see when he does step into that setup instead of maybe a Matip or a Konate for 1 or 2 games just to see. But in terms of going forward for now with him, I think it's proper that we just keep him going with the Europa League, keep him in the League Cup, and maybe the odd substitute appearance throughout the season. The only fear I'd have is where we're caught in maybe January if Matip does go to the African Cup of Nations with Cameroon this time around.
Is that talk of that?
Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And, you know, you're left in a situation where Gomez picks up his standard injury or Konate picks up his injury and then he's forced in to be a first timer for a longer period of time.
Similar to Bajcetic, isn't it? Similar like Bajcetic last year. He was played.
Yeah.
We needed him. He stepped in and then he gets an injury. So you have to manage them, I suppose. You know what I mean?
The natural thing for Quansah is that...
but look where his first... I'm only just thinking there. Look where his first Premier League minutes come this year. It's
the Newcastle.
The way at Newcastle.
The last 20 minutes down to 10 men.
But this is why when Keith said, I could understand why people were saying that. Jurgen Klopp was never sending Quansah onto that pitch, right, and saying to himself, I'm going to throw this game to show the owners what we're needing. No way was he. And I think when you look back at it now, Seany, right, just to continue on, why not? He trusts him, to the ends of the earth. if he's throwing him on away at Newcastle down to 10 men, he could have easily stuck with his back four and went, look, just hold out there and we'll see what we can get. He puts him in, Johnny. He absolutely trusts him.
And he performs.
Yeah.
And like he comes on and he performs. Like I think Wilson might get it, but Wilson's doing that the season Premier League strike defenders week in, week out. Klopp trusts him. He trusts him major. It wasn't some sort of token gesture or anything like that. He literally just turned around and said, you're going in there because I know you can do a job. Like, he doesn't play like a young fella and he doesn't look like a young fella.
No.
That's the thing.
I think there's still growing in him, in his physical sense. I think there's still a bit in him.
Like, to a lesser extent, like, when you watch Wayne Rooney, he never looked like a young player. Yeah. When you watch Jude Bellingham, he never looked like a young player. He always looked like a man, like, no matter what age he was. Now, this is probably giving him the big build-up. That's what Quansah reminds me of. It's not like you're watching. Like, I remember when Gomez comes in and you can see the raw ability is there, but there was times where he looks like a kid. Like, he looks like a kid playing a man's game. The mistakes he's making, you can see he's hustled and he's harried. I haven't seen that yet from Quansah. Now, the sample size is small, but he was down playing for Bristol Rovers, which is the school of hard knocks. Like, it's all well and good being a striker going play in the championship where you might get built around, you can run in behind all day, the ball's going over.
Bristol Rovers, I think, League One, aren't they?
League One. You're playing against blokes who are looking to equalise on you any way possible. You're getting banged. And it looks like to me it's already it's standing to him. Again, it comes down to honest to God, the way I see it is, and people might think this is mad, like, if it came down to, if we have 3 fit centre halves on Sunday away to Luton, and it's Gomez, Virgil, and Quansah, I'm starting him beside Virgil over Gomez, and that's just the way. That's the way I see it.
You see, that's where I think in the future, like, if we look at this season, we want this season to progress as it is, and if one of those leaves, which Matip was in the last year of his contract, but if one of them leaves, I don't see Quansah being back up to Virgil and we bring in a right hand side. I think he goes over to the right and he becomes a competitor for Konate, and the centre half we bring in is actually a left sided one, and that's how they balance it out. That's where I think he actually ends up. I think he ends up as a right sided centre half for the moment at Liverpool, just the way the cards are falling.
Gav, is there a case to be made so that maybe in future he starts playing a wee bit more on the right hand side?
There could be. There could be. It just happens that Konate, Matip only really play the right hand side. So when I'd be interested to see if he ever starts him with Virgil. Do you know what I'm saying? I just think the stage he's at in his career, do you make him Virgil's replacement? I'm not sure, right? But if you were to put him across there instead of a Matip, if he leaves, you're very comfortable with that. And if a left-hand sider comes in and is meant to be Virgil's replacement, it doesn't work, this fella's still getting his experience over the other side anyway. He looks comfortable on either side. Doesn't really bother him. You can see that because even when he's playing down the left, that Cruyff turn yesterday, does it with his right foot onto his left foot and passes. He passes an awful lot with his right foot, but he's happy on either side. A lot of right-sided players like to play left centre half because it's easier to play that diagonal. Do you know the sort of way? That one that they want to play to right wing and stuff. But I just thought he was excellent. The League Cup draw quarter-finals being made. Everton, Fulham, Middlesbrough, Port Vale, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Chelsea v Newcastle and Liverpool host West Ham. I think it's Wednesday the 20th of December. It's a really open draw, Keith.
It is, yeah.
Really open.
Yeah, I mean, Newcastle have had a pig of a draw, in fairness, all the way through this. But they're looking strong in it. They play strong teams and they're getting their rewards. Chelsea, I don't know what they're, they look good, but then they were shit at the weekend. You don't know what happens with Chelsea. But that's another big team that's going to be taken out in the next round. And obviously Everton, Fulham. Look, if I'm an Everton fan or I'm an Everton anything, I'm saying go for that fucking cup because they haven't won a blade and spot the ball in 30 odd years. They need to do something because that club are so... They've got such little man syndrome over there that they probably would turn their nose up at it. You know what I mean? They probably would turn their nose up at a League Cup. But I love the League Cup. I always love the League Cup. I know it gets called the Mickey Mouse Cup, all this sort of shit, but I think you can build your season based on a good League Cup run. A League Cup win, I think you can do really well off it. So there. You've got Middlesbrough and Port Vale. Look, couldn't tell you anything about them, to be honest. But they're there, and it's either a Championship or a League One team going into the next round as well. And then we're at home to West Ham. Look, Samboed in between United and Arsenal, but 3 home games. Yeah, I take that. I would have took that. Once we're at home, I don't care who we get out of that remaining group. I think we have to seriously look at this cup now as one that's ours to lose. And I know that's putting unnecessary pressure on, but I think we've managed and navigated this season very well so far. I think we have a squad there that you can. We'll obviously won't go weak in the League Cup, clearly with the team selection the other night. But I think we've got a good chance of putting out a team that will be strong enough to really compete in this. And I'm confident that we can do something. I'd be maybe worried, and it's probably a bit harsh. I'd be maybe worried about Quansah Kelleher, but he's not really let us down before. I just think this is a real chance to go and win this trophy now. And I'm sure all the other teams think that as well. The one thing I will say as well before I let someone else talk is I'd say everybody is like, don't give us Liverpool. None of them want us in this draw. Do you know what I mean?
None of them want us in a semi, in a 2-legged semi. But Seany, like if you look at the draw, like you're looking at, if you get through, and West Ham were really good last night against Arsenal, so it's no walkover against them. They're another team that have won the Conference League, and will probably look to build on that. And a League Cup will be building on it in a massive way, and it will guarantee them, I think, European football again for next season, wouldn't it? So that, there you go. So, but Seany, when you look at it, you're probably looking at Chelsea or Newcastle, Everton, Middlesbrough as your semi-final opponents. It's really, really open, and you can put yourself in a really good position with a win out against West Ham, just the way the other stuff's falling.
Yeah, the thing for me is, like, it's been spouted a lot this year, and it's for the first time I actually agree with it. We talked about 2.0 and this transition for the last few years. This is an opportunity for Club 2.0 to put the first bit of silverware in the cabinet. That's the way I look at it, because it is a clean start. Forget about what we've won when season's gone. I feel the spine and the ethos of that team is gone, and for the better, because we're doing all right. We're building on it, but I think this is an opportunity for the likes of Szoboszlai, Nunes, McAllister, Gravenberch, you could say Gakpo, other lads who've come into the team to kind of say, look, Bobby's gone, Hendo's gone, Genie's gone, Mane's gone. We're the next group of boys off the rank, and we're going to start bringing in silverware. And I think it's a good opportunity to start. Again, you have a home draw in a quarter final. We should be beating everyone at Anfield, and I mean it. Absolutely everyone. Any team in the world that comes to Anfield.
Bob points out the West Ham fixtures in between United and Arsenal.
Couldn't give a fuck. Could not give a fuck. Squad game. Doesn't matter. West Ham have 2 games in the same space.
Yep.
Like it's as simple as that. West Ham are also playing in Europe, so their squad will be tested at that stage of the season. Again, if you're in these fucking competitions, you may as well go with them. That's the way I always see it. I don't know about you. I had a fucking great day out when we beat Chelsea on penalties last time. I wouldn't mind another one. And that would be exactly my way I look at it. Who do we get in the semi-final? Couldn't give a bollocks. Over 2 leagues, we should be beating every team in the country.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. And then you're going to Wembley, who, barring Chelsea, who we've beaten there the last 2 times we played, we've more experience than the rest of them. So it should be absolutely fucking nothing to us and this group of players, and they have it in them. I think when you get to this stage of this competition, it's past being a sideshow. Like, I don't know about you, I was kind of dreading the Europa League group stages, but I really fucking enjoyed them this year.
Yeah.
Genuine. The Europa League is a competition that kind of gets going in the last 16. The Carabao Cup, you're in the quarterfinals now, and you're thinking you're a game away in a 2-leg semi in the new year. And then 1st of February rolls around and you're in a cup final. And I remember when we won that last cup final thinking, the end of the season starts here, and we've ended it with a trophy, and we were a fucking bee's dick away from winning the whole lot that time. And just hopefully again, we're in the same similar sort of position, because winning is the best fucking habit you can have in football. Think about the state we were in this time last year. We were fucking brutal. We looked like we were going to get turned over at every turn. And it's a completely different prospect now for this Liverpool team. So like Keith said, I don't think fucking anybody wants to play this Liverpool side. And if West Ham fancy their chances midweek in December, a week before Christmas, power to them. They're a good side, but we'll fucking put them away again.
Well, I'm just looking at the fixtures there. On the Sunday before we play United, they play Wolves. We're both at home. Then we meet on the Wednesday, the 20th, and then we have Arsenal at home while they travel to they host Manchester United. The following Sunday. So, very similar fixtures around that time. We both have Europa League games. We should be comfortable enough where we won't have to mess about with, worrying about getting through. Maybe West Ham are in the same boat. I'm not too sure. But Dunner, something Seany, both lads touched on there. It's a trophy, right? And you see, the League Cup gets this thing, it's a Mickey Mouse trophy. It's not. But I think what happens is where you go, you know what? It didn't happen for us. It's, if you go out the FA Cup, you're a little bit stung, but the League Cup doesn't feel that way. Although I feel a bit more stung out of the League Cup than the FA Cup at this stage. I like the League Cup more. But they've touched on something there, Dunner. These new batch of players putting down a marker and experience what it's like to win anything with Liverpool is huge, especially if they're in a title run in, or they're trying to stay in top four, whatever it might be. It's a massive thing if you can put something on the table. Go right back to Mourinho in 2005. He wins that League Cup against us in Cardiff, goes on and wins the league, wins it again. It's a big thing for these players, isn't it? Especially the new ones.
But I'd agree with the lads in terms of the League Cup is a great foundation, and yourself there, Gav, because I think it's a huge statement of how strong your squad actually is. That if you can go and win the League Cup, that you have a constant rotation of players that are able to come in and keep that level of performances up, even at the early start of the season. Like even for us there in 2022, that's the foundation of our season when we go and build that and we win that trophy in January, or February. That's the start of our run towards the end of the season. Granted, we don't come out with all the trophies in the end, but we go on a crazy run from that because, as you just pointed to, winning's a habit, and that gives great confidence. And like for me, that's why the League Cup is so important. And I think, as the boys, Seany was touching on it there, the excitement is building for watching these kind of games, because I think with our squad, you're excited to see the likes of Szoboszlai coming in, McAllister. They're all still playing in these League Cup games. It's not just young lads who you like to see as well, but it's strong competitive teams that have been put out on each round. So I think that makes a difference for us watching the games. So it doesn't create that little bit of a buzz, even for the Europa League. So that's for us there with the League Cup. It can be it can set a benchmark for us this season. And I think it's really important. I think Klopp is treating it like that as well. I think Klopp wants this trophy because for them young lads like Quansah, can you imagine what that would do for him if we go and win this trophy and he's one of the starting centre backs? He's on cloud 9 after that.
Yeah, I just think the likes of a Quansah or whoever, even we've seen Kelleher, like
exactly.
The League Cup, that's the penalty shootout, isn't it? The League Cup, yeah. And these players just they're not that they're squad players that they don't feel part of it, but Quansah walking around in February with a League Cup medal around his neck, knowing he's played the majority of games. He might not play in the final, but he's got Liverpool there and he's been a massive part of it. That's huge. It's absolutely massive for them. So, look, we're not writing off West Ham whatsoever, but I think there's a huge chance here that if you beat West Ham, getting to the final is a huge chance, because what's left in it over 2 legs, I'd fancy Liverpool over 2 legs against anybody. And that's not just in the League Cup, that's anywhere in Europe, to be honest with you. And that's just the way I am. People start railing off names now that could do us, but Liverpool over 2 legs, I'm comfortable with them. Moving on. Seany, I'm going to come to you first because you wanted to speak about this, and it's just we're 10 games into the league. Spurs are top, Liverpool are thereabouts, so are Arsenal, so are City, Brighton are doing quite well, Villa are doing really well, United are struggling, Chelsea are struggling, the bottom half is what you're kind of expecting. Everton have had a little bit of upturn in the last couple of weeks as well. But 10 games in, Seany, I suppose, let's start with, is there anyone that's really, really surprised you in a positive way where you went, well, I didn't expect them to be up there?
Yeah, there's been a couple of teams. Look, I think you're a quarter of the way through the season, more or less, when you're at that 10 games, aren't you, really?
Yeah.
And it's normally what everyone always...
Over quarter of the way,
Yeah, see where you are after 10 games. And it's tight. I was surprised at how tight the table was. And kudos to the likes of Brighton and Villa for sort of putting on that pressure, because, like, the swings in this league, like, Spurs are top now after 10 games, which I'm fair play to them. Look, you can dither or dather about who they've played and their squad depth and the look that they've had, but it is what it is. They've won their games and they've got there by hook or by crook. But they could be fourth by the time they kick off on Monday. It's super, super tight. And I think that suits us. We're kind of going under the radar. People are still kind of painting us with the same brush that they painted us with last year, that Liverpool were done and they were gone away. But we've done a quiet rebuild in the summer. Yeah, we missed out Bellingham. Everyone laughed and pointed, and they were like, what are you doing? They're signing an ex-player for X amount. And look, I think the four of us probably had quarrels about the business that was done, but so far so good. I think Spurs were a tough run of games coming up, so they will be tested. We have a nice run now, relatively nice run until December. The game away at City, we'll see where our chops lie. Villa, very impressive. I remember Kev giving them the big build-up at the start of the season. And look, Emery's a top coach, in my opinion. They've done some good business, and they're navigating Europe as well. So, and we've beaten them. We've already beaten Villa. We've gone away to Newcastle. We've gotten results. We were robbed away at Spurs. We could have beaten Chelsea away first game of the season. So I'm really happy at where Liverpool sit now after 10 games. I wouldn't be putting really anyone ahead of us in the pecking order. City are in this weird phase where it looks like they're having a bit of an identity crisis again, but they just have so much quality that they win games. And Arsenal as well. So it's in the melting pot, as there should be after 10 games, but you kind of start to see a trend after 10 games, but we can't. It's still really, really tight.
You kind of get a feel at 10, but I think at 15, that's when everyone's nearly played everyone, and then you start to see it moving.
You look at the other two, you look at Chelsea and United. And
I want to leave them because that's... Yeah. I want to melt that into Keith's kind of topic near the end, but I agree with you. I think Villa have been excellent. I think Brighton have been a little hit and miss lately, but they play lovely football. City just seem to be... City don't look interested a lot of the time, but they looked very fucking interested on Sunday. And United knew they were very interested. For me, Arsenal, I think they can go a long way. I think if he just stops trying to be too clever in what he's doing. Spurs can only beat what's in front of you. And people are lashing Spurs, and I get the point about that depth, what happens with that depth. But we've seen teams, Arsenal last season, played with about 14 players. Don't care what anyone says. And it got them in the end, but sometimes it doesn't get you. Liverpool done it in 2013-14. 14 players, 15 players. And we didn't get done because of the squad. We got done because of a fella slipping over, right? And Spurs could realistically go and win a title. They could. Because if all it takes is a couple of teams to fall off the rails and Spurs get 3 or 4 more wins, next of all, it's like, they're fucking 7, 8, 9 clear here. And it's hard to pull back. So fair play to Spurs. Look, Seany, I'm just saying to you, I'm telling you now, it's happened. It happened with Leicester years ago. It happened with Leicester. It's happened with other teams.
You didn't win 15 games in a row.
I know, but what I'm saying is City at the moment look to me like they can become a bit disinterested. And that's what they've looked like a bit this season, where it feels a bit too easy. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying Spurs will win the title. I'm just saying, for people shouting, saying, that depth, they're only got this. They can only beat what's in front of you. They've played 10, they've won 8, they drew 2. And have they played well in it? No, not really, but they've still won. And you have to give them credit for being up there.
Do you not think Spurs have been kind of built up for the come down by the press,
Yeah.
by the media.
Probably, yeah, because they love that. Like, as much as the press are giving Postecoglou a lot of credit, and he deserves it, they love nothing more than to dance on him. And they'll just put him in the bracket with Conte and Mourinho and, this is the usual Spurs being Spursy, all that sort of stuff. But as we're saying, Liverpool are in a good position because of where we are and the rebuild we've done. I think Spurs are in a similarly good position. Have they got the squad Liverpool have? Not too sure, but we'll see where it goes. Go on, Donna. What are you making of this?
No, just in regards to Spurs, I'd agree with you. They can only beat what's in front of them, and they've done really well. They've played some lovely football, but I just think it's a little bit over the top, the praise they're getting, because while you can only beat what's in front of you, you have to be realistic in what you've played as well. When they've come up against the big boys, they have struggled a little bit, and we know we were robbed that day. It's clear. We were beating them with 10 men. Yeah. Simple as. There's no two ways about that. We were going beating them with 10 men. You look at the praise they're heaping on James Maddison, like he's the greatest midfielder that's since Gaza. Like, at the end of the day, Salah's numbers are better than his, and there's not a word been said about it. You know, he's been saying that he's the best player in the league this year. Salah has 8 goals, he has 5. He has 5 assists, Salah has 4. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing in between them. Salah's actually performing better realistically.
Do you know a thing that a reason why I guarantee he won't win, and I guarantee why he won't be close to it at the end, is because they're already too emotional. They're already. Yeah. I seen, and I know he's a prick. I know he is a prick, but when you talk about winning titles and he does get into the finer details, Gary Neville normally nails it, and he nailed it last year with Arsenal. And he said they're already running on emotion. You seen Son after the game against Palace in the camera and the camaraderie and the lapse of honour after every home game is fucking mad.
Yeah. Well, Gary Neville's also picked Arsenal to win the league this season as well.
And
mark that down.
Yeah, but look, that's not. I don't think that's a shout that's entirely out of realms of possibility.
No, I don't either.
What I'm saying is, Spurs, the standouts for me, people are going on about Maddison and Son. Bissouma and Sarr have been fucking phenomenal in the middle of the park, and they're both going to be missing for a short period in January, February with AFCON. And the replacement, Bentancur, a player I really like, and Højbjerg, it's not the same. That the two different profile of players, and just literally has them two playing exactly the way he wants, and he's getting a tune out of them.
Also, Shawnee, Bentancur has never played in a system like Ange's.
Exactly, and it's taxing. It is taxing. I really like the look of Van de Ven, and he seems to be striking a nice partnership there with Romero, and Pedro Porro looks a far better player than he did when he came in last year. They're a good side, but we're talking in the Premier League in an era where you're not winning the league with less than 89 points. That's the minimum.
You're not winning the league with less than 92 at this fucking stage.
Exactly.
Like, you know?
Exactly. So I feel it's probably a year too early for them. They look like they're going in the right direction. Unlike United, I don't think it's a false dawn. There's a style of play there. You can see already there's a style of play. And more importantly, there's a connection with the fans that I think is probably missing with Spurs that hasn't been there since Pochettino. Hasn't been there since they kind of moved to the new stadium. And you can't discount the impact that has, because once Klopp really got that, we snowballed. Like that night against Dortmund and Anfield, we snowballed. You can kind of pinpoint when the momentum began the game. But I still feel, I look at Spurs and I'm thinking, even their fans, and look, they're entitled to celebrate and enjoy that football. Fucking right they are after the shite they've been through. But, like, fucking, what did he say? Save your bread for killing your porridge, because there's a long fucking way to go. And they seem to be running their mouths quite a bit. And they do seem to me a little bit over-enthused with that run. Because just think about the pressure. Think about what it takes to win this league. The only reason we won the league in 1920 is because it was over in fucking Stevens' day.
Yeah.
That was 26th. We never got, there never was a title race. We just completely blew the fucking doors off it.
Yeah.
We are going away.
Absolutely, Michael Caine that we did.
Yeah. It was gone. It was done. It was never like, it would have taken a collapse. We could have stopped playing. We could have not played a game with that COVID football and we would have won the league.
Yeah, that's true.
That's literally what it's going to take. And I don't see Spurs there yet. I might even struggle to see Arsenal there yet, but we could potentially be there because we've done the dance before and we've went the distance. And I guarantee you, if you were to turn around to a City fan and say, you can pick one club to chase you down, two clubs to chase you down out of the current top four, they're picking Spurs and they're picking Arsenal. They don't want those fucking near them.
No,
Yeah.
they don't.
Near them.
Go on, Donny, you want to say
Spurs
something?
next 6 games will determine their season.
Yeah, Bob Paddock says the same. They've a big 6 games coming up now.
Genuinely, they could be in a title race or they could be in a top 4 race.
Yeah, no,
Like you can swing that quickly for them in the next 6 games.
and that's what I'm saying. It usually does swing between games 10 and 15, where it really takes a shape, and you start to see when by game 15, every club has kind of had a run of, geez, they're 3 big games, aren't they, in a row? You know, the sort of way. Spurs haven't quite had that yet. But you never know, they could come through it and you go, fuck, they came through them 6 games, fair play to them. But look, as it is, I think it's very tight up there. There's a lot of teams underneath it. But Keith, I want to come to you. And I'm going to merge this with what you wanted to talk about. And it's more or less, I think what you were pushing at earlier was around Chelsea and United. So we'll merge these two together. So where do you think teams are? And you wanted to talk about money versus coaching. And the minute you said that to me, I went, this is fucking Chelsea and United. So take it away and then we let the lads react.
Yeah, no, it is around that.
Tell you your talking.
Yeah. It's well, my take on the top 10, you know, I'm seeing the likes of Villa and all, and they're a well coached team, right? They're excellently coached. Unai Emery is one of the most underrated coaches in European football in England. In fact, disrespected in England after his time at Arsenal, all because he said good evening, and that was it. Disrespected, treated like a fucking joke character. He's come in there, and well, we absolutely bleed and marmaladed them in Anfield earlier this season. We were at the game last year at Anfield. They're a good team with good players, and they're a well-drilled team. And other teams up there like Brighton, West Ham, you know, these guys, Spurs, even Arsenal to an extent, they're well-coached teams. Right, everyone's paying money for players. Brighton paying money for players. They bought Joe Pedro for 30 million. You know, it's not like they're freebies.
Yeah, nobody's not spending money.
Nobody's not spending. So this isn't a thing about, you know, it's not just these teams spending. But I look at the likes of, and people will dive on me for this, I look at Klopp and I look at Pep, right? And people say, Pep's a checkbook manager. Pep buys the players that he wants to buy. And to an extent, yeah, that's fair. But he's also one of the most, if not the most innovative coach in European football and world football. I think he's absolutely doesn't get the credit he deserves because of the checkbook stuff that he just goes out and buys all these players, but he implements systems. And if you look what he does at City,
he doesn't get the credit because of the base he starts at.
Oh yeah, I mean,
that's what it is.
I'll go back
to credit because literally every title he's nearly won is shrouded in mystery.
Oh yeah,
Barcelona.
Yeah, but I think it's the base he starts at.
I agree with what you're saying in terms of his coaching ability, but
that's what I'm trying to differentiate.
He doesn't get the credit because
no, and he'll always have that asterisk and that cloud above him, and you know, rightly so to an extent. But when you look at what he does on the training pitch and the systems his team plays, you know, it's never just right. Give me the best players and we're gonna win. It's give me the best players and I'm going to take these best players, and John Stones is going to be my centre mid here, and he's going to be possibly the second best fucking defensive midfielder in the league behind my other defensive midfielder, who will probably play centre back. You know, he's constantly moving pieces, Pep Guardiola, and changing the game, and people jump on it. Jurgen Klopp, we spoke about Jarell Quansah. He's not afraid to play kids. He's not afraid to put in, you know, lads like, what are we laughing at?
Mike McCardle says, Arteta wants 10 subs now. Next we be playing Win the Dog in golf, for fuck's sake. Go on, sorry.
Yeah. No, but it's true. Like, and see, I put Pep, I put Klopp up there coaching. I think De Zerbi is a coach that does things outside the box. You know what I mean? He looks at ways to play. Brighton are a pig to play against. Every top coach says it. Pep Guardiola says it. Jurgen Klopp says it. You change your plan to play against Brighton because what they do is just, you know, it's outside the box thinking, and you don't see enough of that, or maybe you are seeing more and more of it actually. You know, And then you come to the teams like I was seeing Mauricio Pochettino the other day talking about looking forward to the window opening. Do you know what I mean? And that's all that seems to be their plan. Give me the window. Give me fucking
Is that what he
200
said?
million. Yeah, he was saying that the window will be open and they're sure they'll do business. Do you know what I mean? And
Must have locked Quansah on Lavia outside the window and didn't get them in before the end of the day.
yeah. Well, that's it. But you look at
He's
Chelsea,
already
right?
on about playing a centre half.
It's ridiculous what they do.
Crazy.
But you look at them, they're looking at Osimhen, they're looking at Ivan Toney, they're looking at Blade and all these players to come in, even Kunku to come back into the fold as well. They've just done this approach, and we've spoke about this before, and we've been critical of this before. This throwing shite at the wall and hoping something sticks approach that Chelsea have done is absolutely mind-blowing because they've too many players and I don't know what they're doing, right? They're absolute shit show of a club. And that's reflected in the last couple of years of them. It's not just this season, it's the last couple of years. They were a disgrace last year, they're a disgrace this year, in my opinion. Then you move on to Manchester United. I know it's easy to fucking bash them, but this nonsense that comes out around, you know, the leaky roof, you know, the toy socks, Onana has to wear the jersey out of the Bladen club shop. And in fairness, fans are starting to turn a little bit on Eric Ten Hag, but the lack of accountability on him for not being able to coach a team or build a team that he can get to play a system. I look at Man United, right? And I don't know what they play, what their system, what their style of play is. It's absolutely mind-blowing. It's just counter-attack. It's if they can spring you on spring Rashford in on a counter-attack. That seems to be their only plan. And I can't believe it. I'm looking at this fella, Ten Hag, and it's the Emperor's new clothes every time I see him. People are telling me that he has a lovely coat on, but he just looks in the nip to me. He is absolutely useless. And he's talking like a man that hasn't a fucking Scooby as well. And people think, you know, we've done great at Ajax. He's done great at Ajax. Frank de Boer done great. Was Frank de Boer? Yeah. Frank de Boer done great at Ajax and got the gate after about 4 games at Crystal Palace because they're like, this fella hasn't a blatant clue. I just think the lack of emphasis on coaching and putting in a system and getting a style of play in your team is just the madness that's happening there. You can blame the Glazers at Manchester United. You can do this on the pitch. They're not even trying to do it on the pitch.
But Keith, they're very similar in the way they're performing, but I think their situations are very different.
Oh yeah, right? Very much so.
So for me, and I'll let Dunner and Seany in then, for me with Chelsea, if you're going to spend that sort of money, right, you need a manager that holds the authority, is seen to be flexible in what he does, and is used to this sort of messing, right? Pochettino isn't that. And you've seen that when he was at PSG and they were bringing in players here, there and everywhere, and he struggled. He fucking lost a one-team league at one stage, didn't he? And it just doesn't fit. It simply doesn't fit. And he's not signing them players. He's not. There's no way he's signing them players. These players are being brought in, being thrown at him, and he doesn't know what to be doing. To the point where he's doing, you know, interviews and he doesn't know the names of some of his own players when they refer to him. And like people laughed at that and sniggered at it, and it wasn't really nice on the player that was involved, but that shows you that he's not in control. A manager, don't get me wrong, a manager who has a philosophy would love to turn around to Chelsea and go, listen, I have this philosophy. It's fucking July the 1st. You're going to spend 500 million. I'm going to tell you how to fucking spend it. When I bring these players in, we are going to be the fucking bizzo, right? That's not what's happening.
Director of football that they got.
Yeah, but that's not what's happening at Chelsea. What's happening is, Howie and Mauricio, there's a shitload of money. Here's a load of fucking players you know nothing about because you're meant to be great. There you go, right? He's actually fucked his own career, I think, Pochettino, in his last 2 moves in football. When you go to United, though, United spend the same money, more or less, as Chelsea. They bring in a manager that's talked about this style of football, and he was at Ajax, and he was this, and he was that, and he's hard-nosed, and he'd sort players out, and he'll do all this. And for me, what he's done is, he's come in and went, I'm going to bring in a load of players I knew before, and I'm going to tell them this is the style, right? We're going to do this style. And then he's just brought in a couple, like Casemiro and Mount, and went, you know, Casemiro, you've done it all. Mount, you've been in the Premier League and one of the brightest, you know, young stars in the Premier League, which he was, let's be honest. And it's like he's just fucked them all there and went, look, the lads that played me before, you know the style, tell them what it is. Because honestly, I watched the last half an hour of Manchester United last night, and when they get the ball, it honestly takes them, forget 3 or 4 touches, 3 or 4 seconds to look around and go, right, where is everyone? What are we doing here? And it's either a ball in behind for Rashford or a switch to Anthony, who comes inside and looks for a player running through the middle to pass it to. Other than that, they have nothing. And that man is standing on the sideline doing exactly what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer done. Shin into the zip, stands there in the pistons of fucking rain at Old Trafford, his head getting fucking sapping wet, and he's doing nothing. He's not shouting at his players. If I'm manager of Manchester United and I'm 3-0 down at home to Man City and Newcastle, I'm going apoplectic on the fucking sideline, and I want to know why you weren't fucking chasing, running, this, that and the other. And I'm telling you now, he's gone in there, and I think he's thought it was simple, because I can do Ajax, but I've 20 times the money, and I'll have all the bleeding bells and whistles. And he just thought he'd come in here, and he's actually, for me, this early in his United career, has fell in to a lull. He's fell into autopilot, and he can't click back into gear. That's what's for me for United. Look, long may it continue. I'm not fucking sympathy.
He was finished on Sunday. Soon as that post match, he was finished on Sunday when he said what he said. It's one of them things where you go, this is the long goodbye now. It's the fucking death by 1,000 cuts with you.
Well, aren't they pulling? Aren't they answering to rumours now, saying there's nothing in the statement that he's on thin ice and stuff?
Right,
he's already getting the vote of confidence.
Yeah,
everything you've said is right in terms of he brings in Martinez and he brings in Anthony. Amrabat, I think, plays for him at some stage.
Utrecht, yeah, I think he does.
Yeah. Did he manage? No, he didn't manage Mount.
No, we would have seen him in Holland because
Mount was and Regulon was at Ajax as well.
Yeah. So all of these players, right, that he's bringing in, and then after the game on Sunday, he just comes out and says, "No, we're not going to play football the way Ajax did." So then, why the fuck did you sign all that players? Why did you spend 100 million buying 2 players from Ajax if you're not going to play the Ajax way? That's literally what he said. As soon as he said that, I was watching the match out on Sunday, and I said, and he was like, "What?" I said, "He's done. He's toast.
Yeah,
he's toast because he's come in there with an idea and he's had to abandon it for whatever reason or another. And while doing that, he's over. Like people rate Lisandro Martinez, I don't at all.
He's terrible.
I don't think you get a game for West Ham.
Well, Pasio says Ten Hag tried playing football.
Is no different to Marcus Rowe. Like he's not a dominant centre half. I don't know why he fucks.
Do you know what I'd like him to?
I don't know what that would take him and be able to implement him into a system.
No, do you know what I like him to? I like him to Darwin Núñez. And what I mean by that is people call Darwin Núñez Captain Chaos, but it's all right when you're Chaos up front because you can miss a few when you get another chance. When you're Captain Chaos or centre half, and you're going around and people are calling you the butcher, there's fucking huge problems. Because you keep making mistakes, you get hurt. Pasio says Ten Hag tried playing football 3 games last year, then he bottled it, reverted back to Ole ball against us, and then he got giddy because he sneaked a win and ran with it all year. Now Rashford and Bruno are tanked, he's fucked. Like, when you look at both these teams, and we're not saying for a second, before anybody comes on and says, oh, well, Liverpool and City and Arsenal, they all fucking spend money. But when they spend it, whether you like it or you don't, they get coached to within an inch of their life. They get coached into what you want them to do. They're picked specifically for certain roles in what you can see. Like when we're signing Sobbers, like we're looking for a Gravenberch because we know they link. You know, this sort of way. It's forward planning all the time. And Gary Neville bangs on about the football structure at United and stuff, but he flip flops on that as well. So pointless listening to him or even referring to him. But what I'm saying is that when it comes down to it, right, you can spend all the money in the world, and if you have the right fella, you're great. But when you have spending all the money in the world, and you have a fella there that A is not fucking making the signings, or B, which is Pochettino, or B with Ten Hag, does not have a way of playing football with the players that he's signing, you're in massive trouble, Donner.
No, 100%, Gav. And I just before we move off, totally, just to touch on what you were going on there with Ten Hag as well. And when you think back on a massive red flag, should have been for when Gravenberch and Frankie de Jong both turned him down, even though they both played under him.
Yeah.
Frankie de Jong was nearly dragged out of Barcelona by Laporte. He didn't know that. And he would not sign for Man United for loving him.
Bought me a huge Toblerone in Barcelona airport on the way to the terminal for the flight to Manchester. And just said
and
no.
He would not sign. And same with Gravenberch, he went to Bayern instead, and they were both meant to be Ten Hag disciples. And no chance of him going there. He's only signed the dross from Ajax that no one else would touch. You know? That's all that's happened there. Sorry, no, that's not answering your question that you asked me. It's just
well, no, you do what you fucking want, don't I?
Oh, you go with it, don't I?
You're a strong, independent woman.
Questions.
But no, in regards to the coaching aspect of things, yeah, and in regards to Pochettino, and you made the point earlier, he's made 2 really bad decisions in his coaching career now with his last 2 jobs. With the Chelsea job, Pochettino, he could make that a brilliant team, but to keep landing players in on top of him, he needs a small squad of 22 players tops. That's what he had at Spurs. That's what he had at Southampton. And then he can implement his style of play. Everyone can buy into his direction. He kind of operates like Klopp. It's a siege mentality. It's us against them. And that's what he gets going. And he develops a style of play and a fundamental way of setting the team up that's very, very hard to play against and also very attractive to watch. But he can't do that with Chelsea because he has 8 strikers. He has 17 left fulls. You know, you can't keep everyone happy. They have 2 dressing rooms. Could you imagine what it's like on the training pitch there alone? It'd be impossible to coach that team. Yeah. And he's thrown into a ring of fire that it's a near.
But he makes that decision to go in there. Like it's not like the madness hasn't kicked off before Pochettino lands there.
Yeah, and that's a fault on his behalf because I don't see what he's saying that would be any different. As in terms of with Graham Potter, they made a good appointment in my opinion with Potter. The idea was right, but again, just this constant bombardment of players just landing in on top of him every window, needlessly.
Yeah. And because you'd argue if you bring, funny enough, going back to Graham Potter, if you bring in Graham Potter, right, and keep him there and spend 1/3 of the money you've spent, you're probably in a better position than you are now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Doubt. You even go to look at Pep and Klopp, for example. Pep doesn't make wholesale changes when he comes in at City, first of all. There's the foundation of a brilliant squad there. He drip feeds a couple of players in and slowly transforms it. Like Klopp, he was happy to take what was there because there's a few fundamental elements that he could work off, build on that, and slowly add the quality in. And all of a sudden, then in 2 or 3 years, he's changed the side. But he's been given the time, given the tools. Whereas with United and Chelsea, it's here's everything all at once. Now try and make a silk purse out of a pig's ear. It's impossible. You can't do it. And this is where these coaches are falling down big time. And it's going to be their downfall. And as you said, Gav, for Poch, he's going to have to drop down an awful lot now to build up his reputation again. Because, look, he's going to get the sack in about 2 months. Realistically. I don't think he can turn this round in... what's he got? Maybe till January, they're saying if he gets into the market again, but that's not going to solve his problem. It's only going to make it worse because they can't get players out the door.
No, they can't, and especially with Chelsea, because the players they've signed are all in the last year, and they're all on bleeding 8 and 9 year contracts. Like your man Mudryk is on a ridiculous contract, and the talk is that he's not very fucking popular there. Do you know the sort of way?
They're doing the same shit that United were doing as well. They're signing players because the rivals were looking at them. Yeah. They only signed Mudryk because Arsenal were trying to buy him. And United done the same crack. See how anyone expects to into the top corner. Do me a favour, they signed an absolute chronic footballer who done all right for Shakhtar Donetsk. Do you know what I mean? And this is one of your star players now. You're up shit creek.
Yeah, I just think they're all over the place. And then when it comes to United, it's again they've done an awful lot of players in the last 12, 18 months that you can't turn around and go, I would just get rid of them. And United used to be in the financial position to do that, but they aren't anymore. They aren't. You seen it when it came to the end of the last window. They were scratching around, maybe looking for a loan player, and ended up getting Amrabat somehow. But like literally, and myself and Seany in particular speak to a United fan that is very like genuine on United's finance and stuff, and going, look, they've no money. They can say they earn all the fucking money on the planet, but the way they spent it, they genuinely have no wiggle room to go and do what they're trying to do. They just don't.
But even Gav, even with the fact that players they're signing players the wrong side of 25. Like they're signing players coming into their late 20s, early 30s. When they need to be building a project, they need to be signing young players and doing like what Klopp done. Signing players that you can have for nearly 10 years going forward. You know, they're signing mercenaries at this stage. Varane, your Casemiro's, like even bringing in Amrabat, like you're bringing him in off the basis of a World Cup. He's not good enough. It's as simple as that. Liverpool never tried to sign Amrabat. I'm never going to buy that for him. Not in a million years. He's not good enough. Like I always look at that, the likes of Amrabat. If you're good in Serie A, Juve or the Milans are beating down your door to sign you. Well, he was never mentioned once to go to any of them. And that's a red flag in itself for me. And he's coming in there now to bolster that midfield that Mason Mount was meant to work wonders with Casemiro and Eriksen. Like, come on, it's a fucking shit show. Gary Neville saying the Klopp would have swapped his midfield for United at the start of the season.
Yeah, but you're referencing him again.
Johnny Evans and bleeding Harry Maguire playing games for Manchester United is fucking bonkers.
Yeah. It is.
But Johnny Evans starting the year ahead of Varane, Shawnee.
But you see, the funny thing is,
apparently now the talk is that he's ostracised Varane now from the dressing room. Is the talk
because he turned around and said he played Johnny Evans in the derby as a tactical move. Now I'm sorry.
I think he's wrong. I think I call him being a bluffer early. When you come in and say areas I made the end, talk about making a fucking rod for your back. Yeah. I was out. We were speaking about Carabao Cup finals earlier. I was out last year with a lot of United fans when they were watching the Carabao Cup final, and the show they were coming out with is we found their Klopp and his stand, and we'll continue to grow. What's changed? They literally play the exact same football now that they do under Solskjaer. Haven't spent way more money on play. Like I'm not joking you. Like Anthony, I wouldn't swap Anthony for fucking Ben Doak.
The funny thing is, I said to you last night, I seen a tweet last night, and I'm paraphrasing it, was this person said, Anthony is the biggest misuse of funds, not only in football, but anywhere in the world ever.
Yeah, it's
the worst allocation of funds was the worst.
Like, you know it's bad with United when you kind of like, you don't get any, like, not that I don't get any enjoyment, but it's just like, just shy. I was in a WhatsApp group with a few of my mates, and I was like, United are just poison. That piss. And these would be lads who would pipe up now and Liverpool are 1-0 down or whatever in the game. I was like, yous are actually piss. Not even worth insulting. Like, it's bad enough you have to watch that. It's probably getting to the stage where you don't even watch them anymore. They're fucking shy. I think we'll get him sacked in December. I think we'll be the death nail again.
I don't think he'll last that long. He won't last that long. I'll tell you what's going to happen. They're going to sack him, and they're going to go for the Zerbi off Brighton because he's going to be the name on everyone's lips. No, I'm not saying he would. They're going to go for him.
If they wanted the Zerbi, they wouldn't even be able to afford to buy him. I was contracted on.
I know, but what I'm saying is the Zerbi be man to go near him. But I think they'll think they're being cute and go, get rid of this fella and get into the Zerbi before anybody else does, because you know the way it is. Managers become a bit of a rat race. But they just keep going down this route. And it's funny because you talk about January. Chelsea will get to January and just start spending a lot of money again and lamping players at this fella, which is not working, right? And United will probably go out and find more money to spend if this fella stays in charge and give him more. And the track record of his signings is appalling. It's absolutely appalling. And the funny thing is, like, this is where the comparisons, this is where you know how far they've fallen. When you look at Liverpool signings, or indeed City's, Arsenal's, whatever it might be, right? When you look at them, people pick on one player. Darwin Núñez, let's for argument's sake. Darwin Núñez, oh, look at it, 100 million, never 100 million, but listen, let's go with it, right, for the fucking narrative. Look at this, Liverpool have spent 100 million on this player. And he's this, and they just went through him every week. Fella got 16 goals last season, right? Debut season, we weren't great, right? And they pick on this. When you look at United, they don't even bother doing that anymore. They just say they're all brutal. And when you look at the signings, Onana, go through it. Onana, he signed. He signs fucking Johnny Evans. Malacia, injured, right? Hasn't been fucking seen. Mount, right? Even Casemiro, right? Hoyland is young, fair enough. Anthony. There's so many of them where they just don't bother picking on one. They simply don't. They just turn around and go, this is not good enough for Manchester United. But this is Manchester United. This is what they're doing. And they've been doing it for fucking years. And the funny thing is, their forced reaction to this will be to try spend their way out. Not to coach them, not to fucking turn around. I said it to a fella the other night. I said, what they should turn around to him is and say is, right, listen, you're getting 50 million quid in the summer. If he makes it the next summer, you're getting 50 million quid. But you can only bring in players once players leave. That's it. So if you sell Harry Maguire and you sell fucking Anthony for a combined 70 million, you have 120 million there, but you need to bring in 3 on them. Not 2, 3. And the wages from them 2 is 400 grand a week. See those 3 that have to come in? They have to come in under 400 grand a week between the 3 of them. And that's what they need to get back to. That's what they need to go to. Players that are hungry to play for United. Mason Mount's walking around there doesn't give a bollocks. Right? So, your man in midfield doesn't give a bollocks. You know what I mean? They don't care. Because you know why? Because there's enough outside interference to cover their arses week on week on week. And the biggest one is Gary fucking Neville. He's causing enough fucking shit everywhere else that all these players are walking around and no one gives a bollocks about them. And that's what's going on. I really enjoyed that. We've gone way over the hour. Really enjoyed it. Anything else you want to bring up before we go, lads? Keith?
My family thing in there, Seany's son, who, for anyone who doesn't know, is not my illegitimate child, but he had to send in €75 into the Movember fund. So fair play to
nice
Seany's son. Fair play to your son.
Yeah, fair play to Seany's son, straight in. Is that into the Talkin Kop one?
No, I'm at getting a ping there on my phone that it came in there, so that I just...
Yeah, I get pings when it comes through everywhere. So, fair play. Happy days. And fair play that he's kicked off the whole run now for the month of November, so fair play to him. Keith, anything else before we go?
No, nothing, Gav. I found this podcast very unsettling with the moustache stuff. I really have. I've done my best, right. to get through till now. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
It's been difficult.
Yeah.
It's been the most difficult one I've ever had to do.
I have to go and check this out.
Check it out. Everybody check it out.
Not like it, Keith.
I think it's great. I think it's fucking great. Yours, Clark Gable, fantastic.
Yeah.
Fucking...
Who's Clark Gable?
Clark Gable, handsome. That's who you were called earlier. A handsome man from the golden era of Hollywood. Great shout, that. Fucking John Candy beside me. I'm not too sure about fucking trains, planes and automobiles there.
Stop. God. Donner, anything else before we go? And before I go and try to explain these memberships to people, go on.
No, you work away.
Seany's just going to get compliments for November and I'm just going to get absolutely hammered, but I'm absolutely fine with it. You keep them coming because a lot of them have made me laugh today. A lot have made me laugh. Nigel sent a super chat for €12 saying, or £12 saying God bless. So what I'll do is I'll take that £12 and I'll stick it into the Movember. How does that sound? We don't even get that £12. We get about 8 of it. Let me see.
Magnum IPA.
So we're all good, are we? We all good? Okay.
Good.
No, I'm enjoying this roast that's going on at the moment in the chat.
I look like a young Rude Hullet that had a haircut. I'll take that. Rude Hullet was a bleeding whopper, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, hold on. Rude Hullet was a handsome man. Yeah. No disrespect to you there.
Yeah. Carl Duss says, I think you meant to start clean shaving for November. We were.
They did. Just clean shaving at the start of the pod.
Yeah. That's at the ground in the last hour and 48 minutes.
No, there's no point in you clean shaving, so just have a beard.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a full on, like, seriously, it's gonna be like a poisonous caterpillar on me lip by the
I
end
don't know
of
what
the.
way to go with it. I don't know what way to
I'm
go
gonna give
because
it a
you know
little.
me now. I'll come back on
Give
the
it a
pod
bit
tomorrow and I'll have a
Rondes
beard, like.
Yeah,
So
you
I
have to
don't know
get the
what way
little
to go.
twist going. You have to get the little curly bit going. That's what you
Yeah.
need to be doing.
It's
You need
already
to be
kicking out
different.
a little bit. It's already, there's little back
I
wings on
reckon
it.
if you stuck
Yeah.
on 2 parka jackets, you could have sold pigeons to Martin Cahill in the late 80s.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm like, you know, that's what I feel like. You know, I feel like I should be on a Netflix show, but I should be like an FBI agent from like the
Narcos.
50s.
Fucking narcos in Colombia.
Yeah. Anyway, it's going to be a deadly November, doing Movember. If you want to donate, the link is in the description. It's on our social media. If you can't find it, get in contact with us and we make sure you get the link. We'll try to raise as much money as we can during this month for men's health. Now, memberships, right? We're finalising things, so this mightn't start. It might start this week, it might not yet. But what we're going to do is we are going to bring you. We usually bring you about 6 shows a week, right? Now, first of all, you're not going to be able to. People think I'm going to lose shows, you're not, right? The way you get them and what time you get them at may change depending on what you want to do here, right? So the idea is that we are going to start memberships from possibly next week, $3.99 per membership. Right now, a lot of channels out there will do it where they'll say $3.99, you get an emoji and you get a fucking badge. We're not doing that. We're putting some shows into this $3.99 membership. They'll be members only. Then we're going to take our membership and we're going to ask them to suggest shows to put in that membership group and do those things. We're going to bring you certain series as well, which could be 5-6 episodes long, which are going to be in behind that. You're still going to get at least 3 shows a week free on YouTube, right? But if you don't want the membership and you don't see the members shows during the week, the following morning you can download them to listen to. So it's not like I didn't see that show, I can never see it or hear it. You will hear it the next day. The whole idea behind the memberships is to support the channel, because it's getting more and more difficult. Trust me, it's getting more and more difficult for more and more work, right? And people like the interaction. We're trying to keep that. We're absolutely trying to keep that. So you will get 3 shows a week free. That's no problem. Any other shows then will be part of the members only thing. But if we do 7 shows a week, those 7 shows will be available the next morning after we do everyone for download to listen to. So it's up to you if you want to watch them, be in the members group, interact, or say, nah, that's not for me, I'll download them the next day. That's all it's for. It's just to try and support the channel, okay? But the 3 shows all week will remain free. We're going to alternate them because people are going to go, oh, which ones are this? Some weeks one show will be in the members group, some will not. So we give everyone a chance to see stuff as well. And possible people that aren't sure whether to pick up a membership will go, oh, I like that. Yeah, no, listen, sometimes that's in the membership only group. I'll go and subscribe. So we're going to set them up. You'll see a join button appearing on our YouTube channel. You click on it, you put the $3.99 in every month, and there'll be member shows, there'll be free shows, there'll be all sorts of stuff. But everything will be available for download. At the moment, we do about 6 shows a week. That's possibly, it will go up. But the 3 will stay free. If we do 8, we do 9, you'll end up with 6 in the members group, all right? We're going to try alternate the shows. We're going to try alternate the people you see and all that sort of stuff. It's, if you can help us, absolutely brilliant. But don't worry. Every show we do will be available to you in one way or another. We're not locking you out from shows completely. We're not going to do that. Did anyone see the Bayern Cup upset? Yeah, they were knocked out from it. Was that a 3rd division team?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
The Hardy. Yeah, poor cunt wasn't even playing, was he? Did he come on?
I can't remember.
I don't
Can't remember.
know.
But
Before we go, Stephen Lennon says Dunard is good. I suspect that's Dunner's Borner, is it? Is that your Borner there, Dunner? Were you doing that yourself?
No.
Definitely your Borner.
Yeah.
It's about time he got him fucking on down the sticks.
Agree,
Carl
100%.
Tuff says Gav could be walking in alongside the Undertaker at WrestleMania.
That's who it is. Paul
Oh,
Bear.
man, that's the shout.
That's the
Oh, I go mad! I didn't dress up as him for Halloween. Now I go mad. I have to start. I got to screenshot that for next year. I'm gonna be Paul Bearer next year.
Anyone who was handy enough for Photoshop, get it going. Paul Bear at it. Gav her a little.
But there has to be a smoke coming out of my mouth because
Why
that's
not?
it's me thing, isn't it?
It
The
is
smoke
at
out of the
this
mouth.
stage.
I remember the one we done with. Remember John Daly, the golfer, with my face on it,
Yeah.
and someone messaged me going, "Jeez, the weather's great where you were playing golf. Where's that?" And I was like, "Fuck off, for fuck's sake!" But that's just how it goes. Listen, they were all listen. For every time you slag me, put €1 in a jar, and when you get to the end of the month, take all the euros out, go in the bank, put it in the bank, and send me the money for Movember. And I'm absolutely happy to take any amount of abuse through November for this. Absolutely any amount of abuse. That's it. Really enjoyed it. That's been a great Thursday night on the Talkin Kop. Coming up for the rest of the week, we have 2 shows on Sunday. The immediate match reaction to Luton and the Sunday night show, where we'll have a look back at that game, and I look forward to next week as well. So when you see the membership thing come up, you will see join on the YouTube channel. That's when we will start it, but we'll give you plenty of notice as well. We're not just going to land you with, oh, that's members only. We're not going to do that. We might just stick it on there, leave it for a week, and then start it. But as I said, if you want to get access to every show we do, you will still get access, just in slightly different ways. If you can support us, great. If you can't, it's absolutely fine. We're all right with that as well. Keith, Seany, Dunner, it's been an absolute pleasure. We'll try to get all these boys back next week, but they're very busy. But I think me and Seany have to be on every week now to update our mustaches, because the boys are getting great crack over here. But that has been it. Thanks a million. Talk to you in a bit. Over and out.